I'm Douglas Wagner, Executive Director of Leasing for Bond New York Real Estate. I've lived in New York City for more than 20 years, and although a lot of the things in the city have changed, one thing that has remained constant is a confusing, congested, chaotic residential real estate market. If you're thinking of moving to New York, or if you already live here and you haven't moved in a while, this video is for you. My first advice for anyone thinking of moving to New York is to think like a landlord. 69% of the residential housing stock in New York City is rental property, and of that, only 1% of it turns over, ever. That means that 99 out of 100 apartments are occupied, full, not available for rent. And demand so far outweighs supply that there's been a housing crisis in New York City for more than half a century. As you might have experienced when you're trying to find an apartment in New York City, the rental market is filled with incomplete information, missed expectation, disappointment, and lots of consumers chasing the same few listings. In order to compete in such a market, you should know how landlords view incoming tenants and what you can do to overcome their objections before you try to secure a lease. It's important to expect that compromise is what gets deals done in this red-hot apartment market. The apartments you see portrayed in TV shows rarely reflect the way renters truly live in New York City, but it's entirely possible to find great accommodations if you can have an open mind to compromise, as well as prepare yourself on paper to fulfill landlords' leasing requirements. Take it as a given that with 99% of all the apartments in New York City filled, you should be ready to compromise on either size, price, location, or building amenities. Here are 5 tips to prepare you both mentally and physically for your upcoming New York City apartment search. Tip number 1, find a broker that you like and stick with them. Most brokers have access to most of the listings in New York City, and remember, brokers work strictly on commission, so your search becomes a priority to the broker that knows he has your loyalty. Tip number 2, time your search. Brokers tend to find out about upcoming availabilities 3 to 4 weeks before the apartments are actually available. So you'll want to make an appointment, and we'll dedicate a special amount of time to your apartment search. Now you'll need to be able to come in between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, because that's when business happens. For a little while, you'll need to make your apartment search your top priority so that you can react anytime a great apartment hits the market, so that you can be ready with bank checks and paperwork to fulfill any application requirements and make yourself as competitive as can be. Tip number 3, and this is a big one, prepare your paperwork. Everyone who rents an apartment in New York City is subject to rigorous tenant screening. So whether you're a student, or you're a new hire with a great new job, or you're a wealthy mid-career executive, anyone who gets an apartment in New York is subject to full financial disclosure in order to have a landlord offer them a lease. This is an application package that's ready to be submitted to the landlord. The agent's done a great job in getting all of the paper required and the checks so that we should have an approval pretty quickly. We have a completed application, proof of income, verifying at least 40 times the monthly rent. We have a very favorable credit report, pay stubs, bank statements, and very importantly, we have official bank checks to hold the apartment off the market while we process the application. Tip number 4, prepare your money. As soon as you find an apartment that you want to rent in New York City, you'll be required to pay an application fee and the first month's rent to take an apartment off the market while your application is being processed. Now, at the lease signing, once you're approved, you'll have to give a security deposit, usually equal to 1 or 2 months of rent, as well as the broker fee. Now, we need to make sure that you have your money available in a New York City bank account, because if your bank is out of town and it doesn't have a branch in the city, it will be impossible to get certified funds, and personal checks are never accepted. Tip number 5, when you found the apartment and you know you want to rent it, do not hesitate. Apartments move so quickly in the New York City market, consumers rarely have time to sleep on it. Move swiftly and deliberately and secure that lease. Now, for more information, feel free to explore the properties on bondnewyork.com. Our rental listings are reflected in real time, meaning every apartment that you see online is available that day for review. And then, let us know when you're ready to move forward.